Well, hello, friends. I hope you're having a great day today. Hey, guess what? It's Friday. God's kept us and blessed us another week. What do you say? Let's go ahead and gather our faith around us and let's go out of here and let's finish this week strong as we get ready to go into the weekend. Welcome to the last edition of Take 5 this week. We are talking about this series, Rapture 101. This week, the message has been Imminence. We're looking at the things that preserve the rapture as an imminent event, meaning that it could happen at any given moment. It's looming overhead. There's nothing that has to happen. It could happen right now. We've looked at three things already that preserve this imminence. Number one, it's a signless event. Number two, it is a surprise event. Number three, it is a sudden event. And number four, and I won't say the most important, but it ranks way up there, is it is a sequential event. Now, when I say that, what I mean is in order for the rapture to be an imminent event on God's prophetic timeline, it has to happen in the proper sequence. And this means that it has to happen before the tribulation. Now, there are a lot of views out there. People have got different ideas about when the rapture is going to take place. Some have the idea with what we have and we believe the Bible teaches without a doubt is that the rapture will be pre-tribulation. It's going to happen before. But there are those that have the idea that the rapture will happen in the middle of the tribulation, and those that have the idea that it will happen at the end of the tribulation. And in a nutshell, because I only have 7-8 minutes, however long we go today, in a nutshell, we need to understand that in order for the rapture to remain signless and for it to be sudden and for it to be a surprise, in order for it to be imminent, event that could happen at any moment without us knowing when, it has to happen before the tribulation. Because when you get into the tribulation, as you study the book of Daniel, as you study the book of Revelation, and the other prophets that talk about those events that happen during the last days, things are laid out too orderly and they're defined too prescriptively. There's no way for it to maintain its imminence if it happens during the tribulation or at the end of it. We can almost lay it down to the day and know when it's going to happen because of the events that would be happening. I did a whole teaching on that on Sunday nights. And if you want the notes from that, just let me know. You can get the notes from that. Better yet, come on Sunday night and you can hear it in person and get the notes, because that's what everybody gets there. But let's talk about this sequence of the rapture and understand that it is absolutely something. My phone's buzzing. Sorry about that. And understand that it is absolutely something that must happen before the tribulation, because God doesn't intend for his people to endure the terrible time that's going to be during that tribulation. Let me read from Revelation chapter 3 real quick, verse number 10. I believe this gives really good evidence here. Because you've kept my command to persevere, I will also keep you from the hour of trial, which shall come on the whole earth to test those that dwell on the earth. Notice what he said, I will keep you from that hour of trial, which shall come. Now, I realize he was talking to the church of Philadelphia here, but even though that letter was written to them, it's written to the entire church age, which we live in right now. And he wanted us to understand. The reason I know it's written to the whole church age, because the church of Philadelphia don't exist anymore, and there would be no use in us having a letter today to a church that doesn't even exist anymore. So it matters to you and me that we understand. He said, I will keep you from the hour of trial, which shall come to try the whole earth. There's some more valuable truths. If we jump to the book of Thessalonians real quick, Paul planted this church, and in the 3 weeks that he spent there with them, he taught them about the resurrection of dead saints and the translation of living ones and the tribulation and the Antichrist and the second coming. Listen to what he says to them. He said in chapter number 1, he said, for they themselves report what kind of reception you gave us. They tell us how you turned to God from idols to serve the living and true God, and how you waited for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, Jesus, who rescues us from the wrath to come. Then in chapter 5, I really don't have time to read all that's happening there in chapter 5, but he's giving them encouragement, and he just told them about the rapture in chapter 4, and he's giving them encouragement and telling them that the day of the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night. But by the time he gets to verse number 9, he said this: God did not appoint us to suffer wrath, but to receive salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ. So again, we have another example that he teaches us that God has not appointed us to wrath. God doesn't intend for us to endure the tribulation. Now, we could go into Revelation and look at other verses and passages, but our time is limited. But let me say this: many saints are going to be martyred during the tribulation. So the promise to deliver the church from the wrath to come must happen before the tribulation begins. Those saints that are saved during that tribulation hour, they're going to have to give their life. And as a matter of fact, there are not going to be very many of them that's going to live through it. Most of them are going to be killed during that time. And in order for God to deliver us from the wrath that is to come, he must rapture us before that event takes place. Also, he gives us the events that happen in the lives of Noah and in the lives of Lot as an example of the church being raptured before the judgment of the tribulation comes. Noah and his family was spared the judgment of the flood by entering in the ark. We know that ark is Jesus Christ. Lot and his daughters were carried out of Sodom, and the Bible said as soon as they were carried out, fire and brimstone fell and destroyed them all. Friend, the pre-tribulation view of the rapture is the only perspective that preserves the imminency of Christ's return. The Bible has so many admonitions to watch and to be ready and to look for him to come at any given moment. All other views of the rapture destroy Christ's immediate at any time coming, because all the events during the tribulation are laid out in a perfectly predictable and almost chronological order. The rapture maintains its imminence because it is signless, it is a surprise event, it is a sudden event, and it is a sequential event that must happen before the tribulation occurs. Let me leave you with just a couple of scriptures that tell us how important it is to be ready for this event that we don't know when it's going to happen. Matthew 24:42, watch, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. Matthew 24:44, be ready, for the Son of Man is coming in an hour you do not expect. Matthew 25:13, watch, for you know neither the day nor the hour that the Son of Man is coming. Mark 13, watch, therefore, you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he finds you sleeping. What I say to you, I say to all, watch, be ready. Jesus is about to return. Hey, I've got to get out of here. It's been good being with you this week. I look forward to worshiping with you this weekend. And next week, we're going to take off from Take 5 because we have a missionary coming this week. So we'll have next week off. But I look forward to being with you as soon as we can gather back around this camera. I enjoy these times with you. Hey, have a great weekend, friend. Trust the Lord. He will never fail you.